What's up? Welcome back to the Kevin's Coast to Coast Gambling Show. We have Nick and Dave both here today. I guess we'll start with last week's records. So we actually all hit. We had a perfect week. I don't know if you caught that on your own, but perfect week. All landed our locks. I hit by the skin of my teeth, by the way, on the Bills and Seahawks. The Bills won pretty comfortably. Seahawks were getting 7.5 with the tees, and they lost by 7. So just barely got that one. I was 2-3. Now I'm 3-3. Dave, you hit with the Saints -9. They won by 14. Easy win. You were 2-3. Now you're 3-3. Hatch hit with the Bills and the Bucks easily. Both teams easily won. He is now 7-2 in his locks, which is unbelievable.
Crazy.
And Kevin Quinn, West Coast Kev, he also hit on the over/under 48.5. Another close one. It was Chargers in Miami. Again, 48.5 points, and they combined for 50. So barely won, but still a win's a win. Was 4-4. Now he's 5-4. So, we're looking like experts out here.
Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. I think I went like 6-13. We had the weird. I think I got nailed by the Cardinals Seahawks game last week because it was -2. Was it Seahawks -2?
I think so.
Or I'm trying to remember what it was.
I remember it was confusing because I also confused it with the Bills game last week where they were +2 maybe, and it ended up being like exactly they lost by 2, so the odds were dead on. But I know that the Seahawks and the Bills are both like surprising lines for us.
Yeah. So I think I got Giants +3.5, the football team +4.5. A couple of the underdogs, or a couple of the favorites hit. Vikings hit, Saints, Raiders, Dolphins. So, yeah, I got a few of them.
Yeah, I don't even. Honestly, the real reason is it takes too much work to go back and like look at every one of my picks. So it's easier just to keep track of the locks. But I know the one time I did it, I think the first time I went through the whole slate and gave picks for every game, and then I went back and counted. I missed on almost every single one, which is impressive, in a way. Like it's hard to do if you were trying to.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, betting against the spread is like a whole nother layer of
sure. I mean, it should
intense,
theoretically be like a coin flip chance every time. That's what the spread's supposed to represent,
We'll see. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, let's jump into these games. We went super long last time. We'll try to make it quicker this time. And then we'll get to the locks at the end and our primetime picks and all that. So back to a normal schedule. I think seven games on the 1 o'clock slate, 4 on the 4 o'clock, and then Sunday and Monday. It's going to get crazy again next week with Thanksgiving. Of course, you have the Thanksgiving games and all that. But for this week, pretty normal. We'll start with the Falcons versus the Saints, or Falcons at the Saints, I guess. Falcons +3.5, Saints -3.5. Pretty close line considering. And I understand Drew Brees is out, and that's probably has a huge. Is a huge factor as to why the line's close, but still, the Saints are unbelievable. They're a really well-run team. Only 3.5-point favorites. What do you got?
Yeah, I actually, because the news, I guess, today kind of broke, Schefter broke that, like, Taysom Hill is going to start instead of Jameis Winston.
Yep.
So I actually had the line at 4, so it's moving a little bit just because of that news, I assume.
Sure.
So, I mean, I had a good, like, Winston arm punts little note here. Who knows if that's going to happen? I hope. I'm sure that Peyton is pretty pissed that news got out because I'm sure he wanted to, run this, question mark as long as he could of which one was actually going to get the start. But I assume both of them are going to play, but it's just going to be kind of a weird dynamic package of when you have who out there and things like that. But I've enjoyed like the national media freaking out all day today about Taysom Hill with like his 18 career passing attempts and what that's going to look like. So against, a horrible Falcons passing secondary. So I think it's kind of a good test to just throw him in there, see what he can do. And whenever you have Alvin Kamara on your team and you have Michael, it's Mike Thomas. I always say Michael Thomas. Mike Thomas.
What did he? He changed it, right? Because it was Michael Thomas, and then I think he started preferring to go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can never remember, but yeah, it's pretty. This is a pretty soft one. I know it's like a division rivalry, but the Saints pass Ds looked good. The run Ds ranked like second in the league, so it's a nice soft kind of game for Taysom Hill, I think.
Yeah, that's like calling the Patriots and the Jets like a rivalry. Not right. This year is a little closer, but not even really. But you know what I mean? Like it's like they just haven't been rivals in so long because the Patriots have been so astronomically better. and that's not even the case historically, but this year for sure, Saints are just in a different league than the Falcons. Yeah, I agree. I think we'll see Winston and Taysom Hill throughout the game. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually get more snaps with Winston, even though Taysom Hill is starting apparently. But yeah, I still think the Saints are just built better. I think 3.5 is a reflection of Drew Brees being out. As good as Drew Brees is, throughout his career, I don't know. I feel like that's not necessarily why they're 7-2. He's a part of it, but I think you can actually plug and play either one of these quarterbacks and still get the fairly easy win. So I'm going Saints minus 3.5. I think they'll easily cover that. I should say this, by the way, because you just mentioned that we had different lines. So all these lines that I'm reading off are the lines according to Bovado. So that's just where I get them. So if anyone's trying to check them, obviously if you search around, you can find different lines everywhere. But just for anyone listening, that's just so people know, I guess. But we'll move on. Bengals +1 at your Washington football team -1. Bengals 2-6-1 overall. The Washington football teams, I can't, dude. It just feels so weird to say that. 2-7. So I mean, this is a absolutely irrelevant game. I will say this, by the way, the Falcons Saints game, because of the Taysom Hill factor, that's must watch TV. I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
Curious.
It's exciting.
Yeah, we want to see what that's about.
Right. This is the opposite of that. So Bengals versus Washington. What do you got?
Yeah, so this is my team. We're picking third currently. So I'm praying like hell that they find a way to lose this game and just kind of hang in there and get a nice loss here. But I don't see it happening. I think the line I saw was the football team favored 1.5, 1.5. So I'm leaning that direction just because if you look at how sackable Joe Burrow has been, I think only Carson Wentz has been sacked more than Joe Burrow this year. And the Skins have 5 first-round draft picks on the defensive line. They're not even playing Ryan Kerrigan. If you think about the embarrassment of riches that a horrible team has, where they have the luxury to not even play the guy with the franchise's sack. He's the franchise sack leader, 10, 11 years into his career, and they're not even playing him. That's how stacked they are, with Montez Sweat on one end and Chase Young on the other. So I that matchup I'm really worried about. Joe Burrow is going to be throwing into what is statistically somehow one of the better pass secondaries in the league. I wouldn't imagine it with Troy Apke running around back there, but somehow people just are not successful throwing on the Skins this year. So he didn't look great. Joe Burrow didn't look great last week throwing against Pittsburgh's secondary, which is kind of in that same status. If he didn't look good against that, he's not going to look good against this one, I don't think. They're going to get after Burrow. He's going to get sacked probably 2 to 3 times. I think Alex Smith is just good enough to put up. I mean, he threw for 300 yards last week on the Lions, so no touchdowns, but he's a game manager just enough that he's gonna somehow eke out a horrible way. If not for that, Chase Young got just a stupid penalty, running into Stafford 2 seconds after he released the ball. They get in field goal range. Prater hits a 53-yarder or whatever it ended up being. So they would have won that game. So I got to take the football team. I'm hoping they find a way to lose just for me and my draft hopes, but I'm going to go ahead and take the football team at -1.5.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with the Cowboys, so I'll follow you because I hope they do win. So I'm going to go I'm going to Washington -1 or 1.5, wherever you got it at. Yeah. I'll go with Washington as well. I do think the Bengals, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because Joe Burrow's exciting. But I still feel like they're scrappy. They could. It also feels like they're not trying to tank at all. It feels like they're trying their hardest. So
yeah, they've been a little bit banged. Joe Mixon is out this week. I think
right.
T. Higgins was a little little banged up, and Giovanni Bernard is good, but it's just, man, I don't know. I don't like the matchups.
I agree. So I'm going Washington. By the way, you mentioned their secondary defense. It reminds me, when you're playing fantasy football and you're trying to figure out, you have, receivers. For example, in this game I have Tyler Boyd, and you look at the little parentheses for, the defense he's facing, and it's
right.
he's facing a tough defense this week. And then you look and it's Washington. You're like, what? Dude, but you're right. Statistically, they have been shutting down the passing game, which I know makes no sense for a team that's 2-7.
It's you've got an insane linebacker. You've got, it's really the linebacker. But I'm who on this team is responsible for this team being 2-7? You know what I mean? They don't score a lot of points, but it's wild that they're this bad with how much they've got going on. Yeah,
absolutely. Next we have the Pats 4-5 versus the Texans. The Pats are actually favored by 2 points against the Texans, which I think is low. I'll start off on this one. I feel like the Pats are gonna win this game and win it fairly handily. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but 2 points seems almost insulting. I think I'm going with the Pats to cover the -2.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird cover that's so low. Not even you got it at 2, right?
Yeah, I did too. Would you have it at?
Yeah, so I mean, 2, the same thing. So I was like not even 3. You know what I mean? Like not even a field goal. So, yeah, I think.
I mean, they just beat the Ravens. I understand. Like,
I know,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they think it's something weird on the road. Maybe who knows, man. Maybe they know something we don't. But yeah, I was like, they're trending up. The Pats, they won the slop fest. They shut down Lamar. They shut down the run D. The Ravens run D. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Houston has to offer at this point. I don't know who Deshaun Watson even has. I mean, I love Duke Johnson. I didn't hear how well that went last week, but I imagine not incredible against Cleveland. So yeah, I expected this line to be probably at least 5, if not like 7, and just an odd line for me. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. This other line, this next game has a weird line as well. It's Eagles +3, Browns -3. I thought that would be more of a spread. I thought the Browns would be a heavier favorite. Now both these teams have something to play for because the Eagles, as shitty as they are, 3-5-1, they basically are controlling the NFC East and should run away with the division. It seems like everyone else is trying to lose. The Giants still feel like they're kind of scrapping and trying to win. But I don't know, man. It's a mess. But yeah, they're +3. The Browns are 6-3, -3 right now on the line. I need a second. I need a second to think about this one. So you can go.
No, I was like, well, you got Chubb is back, right? So you've got Chubb and you've got Kareem Hunt. Both ran for over 100 yards last week. In Chubb's return game, the Eagles' run D is ranked 26th, 27th. They've given up a league high 35 sacks. They're 29th in turnovers. So I was like, well, and Philly, they get to the quarterback. They've got a great defensive line that gets there, but Baker's oddly one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league. So I don't like the matchups. I think it's an easy cover for Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know why there's so much hesitation. And then, again, we talked about this every single week, but it still feels like the Eagles should be better than they are. I thought they would actually have a halfway decent team this year. And clearly they don't. I mean, it's been horrible.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't think of. I mean, Rager. I'm trying to think of who do they even have right now, playmaking wise. Is Deshaun Jackson still injured? I have no idea. I don't know who they trot out. I know Miles Sanders is there. I have him on one of my fantasy teams. He's kind of up and down. He's constantly kind of hurt. When he's on, and then when he's not, he's just hurt. So it's whenever you happen to catch him out there. And then what is it? Scott. I always want to say it's Bart. I always want to say Bart Scott, but it's Boston. Yeah. Can never remember his damn name. But yeah, he looks good in kind of a backup role. But yeah, and then Carson Wentz is just just.
I don't want to root for anyone's failure, but and granted, Dak's out for the season right now. But just the whole, I feel like the media narrative is always how much better Carson Wentz was than Dak. So I kind of like seeing him fail. I'm not gonna lie.
Were they the same draft?
Yep.
Okay.
But so they're always in division rivals. They're always going to be compared to each other. But they just kept the media just kept talking about how great Carson Wentz is, and I was like, he had the 1 year he was an MVP candidate, and then he was injured, and that's basically it. I don't really understand why. Whatever. I'm just bitter.
I agree.
But yeah, so I guess I'm following you again. I'll go the Browns -3. I'll give you a little bonus pick because you just mentioned the 2 running backs coming back, and I don't know. This doesn't count for anything. This isn't my lock or anything. But I would almost take the under for that exact reason. I feel like it's going to be a slow-scoring game. 47.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Baker looked horrible last week, but
I'm seeing a lot of
people are thinking it's weather-related, and it's not fair to judge him against that or whatever. But, bro, it's at Cleveland.
I think a combination of just lack of talent on both teams. Not talent, because there's talent, but lack of just production on both teams. And then the fact that I feel like that clock's just going to be ticking away the entire time because of the running game and basically lack of receiving options,
Yeah. I mean, Myles Garrett is going to
that too
eat up, I'd say 1.5 sacks at least probably in this one.
Yeah, so I'll go the under as just a little bonus pick. But
okay.
This is probably the biggest. There's one spread that is close to this one, but this is the biggest spread on the slate for this weekend. The Steelers minus 10.5. Of course, still 9-0. They're undefeated. About to be 10-0, I'm sure. The Jags plus 10.5. They're 1-8 right now. The Jags are a mess. The Steelers have had some close calls, but have managed to stay undefeated. They were the only undefeated team, I think, after week 6 or something. So they've been alone in that island for a while now.
Well, once the Chiefs, because the Chiefs lost week 5 to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And then was Seattle?
Well,
Seattle
Steelers just kept
in
playing. Remember, like Steelers kept playing like undefeated teams or teams with one loss. They kept being like all these like really tough matches for the Steelers, and they just kept coming out on top.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, there you go.
So what do you got as far as the spread goes? Obviously, the Steelers are going to win.
As far as the spread, it's crazy, but I'm actually going to take it. So I'm actually going to take Steelers minus 10.5, just because I think they're going to be able to do whatever they want on the Jags pass D is ranked, I think, 31st. I'm trying to think of who's worse, but the Jags pass D is horrible. And, I like the complement of the receivers there, where they're all like B+ receivers. They don't really have a standout. Like Juju he hasn't really gotten there. Mapletron is my favorite nickname now with the kid from Notre Dame, Chase Claypool.
Oh, and, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Washington is their third wide receiver, and then they got Connor. You know what I mean? So I just like the Steelers' offense is just good enough. It's like a mishmash of. It reminds me of like a Patriots offense where no one is really like a massive superstar. It's just good enough that no one can really figure it all the way out. And then the Packers defense is just gonna tear that poor kid apart. Jake Luton or whatever, like the honeymoon phase of Luton, whatever his name is, it's over. You know what I mean? So he got exposed last week against the Packers, and Pittsburgh's defense is a mile ahead of Green Bay. So they're gonna just murder that poor kid.
Yeah, I hate to follow you on all these, but I think so far we're directly in line. I'm going Steelers as well. I think it's one of those games where you're like 10.5. That's so many points, but then I feel like they're going to win by like 20. So then, it's one of those games where you're tempted to take the points with the Jags, but I mean, these teams are in completely different stratospheres.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, like the Jags can keep it close, and the Steelers can play down to their competition,
and they do famously. That's like a thing with Tomlin.
They had the Dallas game was close. The opening night Giants game was pretty close. So those are just record wise, those are bad teams.
Sure.
And the Steelers played them pretty tight. So, the Jags, who knows, man? I just don't think the Jags have enough to kind of keep it close.
There is that whole factor too of like the Steelers are 9-0. They're facing a team that's 1-8. Like, can you really get up for that game? I understand they're like, oh, they're NFL players, of course. Like, come on, there are games, there are letdown games 100%, and this is one of those ones you can kind of sleepwalk your way through, probably still win, but to win by 10.5 is kind of a lot to ask for. But yeah, still, I'm talking myself out of it now. I'm going with the Steelers. Titans +6 versus Ravens. Sorry, -6. Both teams are 6-3. Ravens, of course, coming off I don't know. I'd classify it as kind of a shocking loss against the Patriots. I don't know how that's going to affect them going into this week, but I'll start actually. I think that's embarrassing. They lost to the Patriots. I think the Ravens are trying to say that we're the team that's going to win the Super Bowl. We're a team that can go the distance this year. I feel like they have a chip on their shoulder from last year. So to lose like that to the Patriots, I think must hurt. That's Baltimore material the whole week. I feel like they're going to beat the Titans, and I also feel like they're going to try their hardest at least to pour it on and blow them out, and I think they can actually pull that off. So I'm going Ravens, even though I like the Titans, and the Titans, 6 points. I don't know, but I'm going Ravens -6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go Titans with the points.
I'm glad you did, by the way, because I was like, this is getting scary. We've agreed on every single one so far.
Yeah, no worries. But no, I could definitely there's certain things that I think could get exploited. I mean, the Ravens, the run D, they gave up like 5 yards per carry to Indy last week. I think Derrick Henry could have a big day. I like the Ravens pass rushing D against Tannehill. So that's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. But yeah, I think it'll be a close game, but that's why I was like, I gotta take Titans with the points, because I don't know if the Ravens are in a funk right now. But I don't know if they're, it was an insane. Did you watch that game on TV? The actual the amount of rain that was coming down.
The Ravens Pats.
The Ravens Pats game.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god! Because it was in New England, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, too.
And it was insane, and they created a situation where Lamar basically had to throw the ball, and it didn't go great. You know what I mean? So imagine him throwing into a rainstorm. So yeah, but I don't know. Until the Ravens show me something different, I gotta go with the Titans.
Sure. It wasn't in New England, to confirm that. So the last game on the 1:00 slate, the Lions plus 1.5 at the Panthers minus 1.5. Lions are 4-5. Panthers are 3-7. And I am painfully aware of this because I have Christian McCaffrey on my team. He is not playing again. So, now he's got shoulder problems, whatever. I'm bitter about it. It basically tanked my whole season. But, so the Panthers still 1.5 point favorites against the Lions, despite the fact that McCaffrey's out. You can start on this one. What do you got?
Yeah, my line was Panthers plus 2. So I'm no worries, but yeah, that's what I caught. So I'm gonna take Panthers plus 2. DeAndre
you got
Swift.
Panthers plus 2?
Yeah, that's what my line
Hold
was.
on. I wonder if I missed it. Unless it's switched that much. I got Panthers.
So I think news came out today that DeAndre Swift is out with a concussion. He's in the concussion protocols.
Okay.
So that may have shifted it, but I got the line I think yesterday maybe, and so I'll have to see if it changed. But that's a huge. He looked incredible. I mean, I guess he played my Washington football team last week, and he was just running around out there. Adrian Peterson got I don't know, maybe a handful of carries, but they were just handing it off to this kid. He looked great. So I didn't remember any major traumatic hit that apparently he was sidelined with or anything like that. But he was. I saw someone report it was like it's being like designated as a brain injury or something. So he was in protocols all week, and people were waiting to see if he was going to play or not. And then finally, word came out, I guess today, that he is not playing. So that is changing my thoughts and made me pretty confident to go ahead with the Panthers plus 1 or plus 2 rather. Stafford looked good against the Skins last week, which they, as we talked about, they have a good passing secondary, high ranking and everything. But and he was missing his top wide receiver, he's missing his top tight end, and he was still throwing it. So he had like 3 touchdowns, 276 yards. But they still, I think they were leading, I want to say like 24-7 at one point, and then let the Skins crawl all the way back. And it took like a last second, field goal. It looked like they were headed to overtime, and then Prater hit like a 51-yarder or something and won the game. But they went blow for blow with the Skins. So, I was like, I'll go ahead and take the Panthers plus 2.
All right, we'll go with your line because it makes it a lot easier for me. I'll also take Panthers plus 2. I think I was going to take them, or whatever. I'll take them regardless. I'll be brave about this. So I got it at Panthers minus 1.5. I'll take the Panthers,
okay,
even if that's the line, which is that's what I have it at right now. Although I will say this. So Bovado, there's always like a couple games that aren't on the list, and I think it's when the lines move so much. Like you just said that, this went from plus 2 to I had to go to a different website and saw minus 1.5. I just went to Odd Shark that had it minus 2.5. So I think the line's moving so much that Bovado is basically like not taking action on it right now. I think is how that works. So this is a line I had to find elsewhere. Yeah, it's like they're just not sure. It's moving too much where they're like, all right, let's just pause everything and let's see where it shakes out, and then we'll open that game back up. I think it's how it works.
Yeah. I'm using the lines.com and the consensus, or let's see, the DraftKings has it at Panthers plus 2. Williams Hill Sportsbook has Panthers minus 3. FanDuel has Panthers plus 2.5. Jeez. So it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so I think that like a book like Bovado is probably just like, this is too. We're not even going to offer this game. It's too confusing right now. I think is how that works. I'm not sure. Every week there's always like 1 or 2 games that are on their website.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So I'll regardless, any of those numbers, I'm taking Panthers. I think Panthers win. Even without McCaffrey, I think the Lions. You just said Swift being out, and just in general, I don't know. I think the Panthers. I think Teddy Bridgewater is solid, and I think they cover regardless, especially if you can get it where they're the underdog. So I'll go Panthers as well. Moving on to the 4:00 games, we got 4 of them. Dolphins minus 4, Broncos plus 4. The Dolphins are 6-3. I feel like this is another one where I just associate the uniform with like, oh, the Dolphins suck. 6-3 is very legitimate. I understand that the Bills are doing very well in the same division, but 6-3 is definitely a wild card potential, and you have 3 teams making it this year out of each conference. So Dolphins 6-3, Broncos are 3-6. kind of a liability. I don't know. I still feel like Tua is going to keep getting better as he goes, so I'm going Dolphins -4, but I don't feel super confident about it. I don't believe in the Broncos at all, even if this is in Denver.
No, yeah, I don't care. I mean, I don't care where they play it.
That's the only ones. I don't really care about, crowds are so weird this year, but like Denver has the altitude. I don't know if that's overblown or not, but I don't know. Still, I'm going Dolphins.
Well, like I don't know if we talked about it, but do you know how infamous the Miami 1 p.m. start is? I don't know what the record is where like Miami they've always sucked, but like basically the way that they built like Hard Rock Stadium or whatever is if you're in the visiting sideline for a 1 p.m. start in Miami, you're just staring into the sun for 3.5 hours. You're just getting roasted.
Was that intentional?
So I mean, how could it not be? I assume absolutely. You know what I mean? So
I always wonder. Go ahead, finish.
No. But like, I mean, if you're the Minnesota Vikings or something, you're coming down to Miami and you're just getting roasted. You know what I mean? So the altitude is a whole thing. I get it, but Drew Lock also threw for 4 interceptions last week. So I mean, it's not gonna. If I'm balancing altitude versus Drew Lock throwing arm punts out there
versus talent,
yeah, I'll go ahead and I don't know what is going on with Drew Lock. He looks great and he looks horrible. He beat the Chargers and he looks great, and then he looks horrible against the Raiders. I think the Dolphins are going to get to him too. They got a good they get to the quarterback. They have a good pass rush and everything like that. Tua's going to do enough. He hasn't I don't think Tua's thrown. Has he only thrown for like 200 yards? I think in 1 out of 3 games he's started so far.
Yeah.
So he doesn't do a lot, but he's not making like horrible rookie turnovers or anything like that. So he's just kind of.
I think those things go hand in hand too. They're not asking him to do a lot, so he can limit those kind of mistakes.
Right. Yeah. And is it the Dolphins? I'm trying to remember. They get the kid out of Washington, the undrafted rookie free agent running back. Is it Amir? I'm trying to remember, but he's just like, dude, like, what is it like? Do you really it's weird? Like week 11, week 10, week 11, week 9 is when you start figuring out like you never basically need to draft a running back, because then that's when they start emerging.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whoever you've paid, like Christian McCaffrey, or David Johnson or what, they're all hurt by now. And now we see like, oh yeah, you really don't have to draft them or pay them because they just grow on trees. And you're just seeing like, oh, the kid from Iowa State or the kid from this school or that's like, it's insane. Like, I love this time of year to figure out, where these kids just appear out of nowhere. And they're like, oh, I'm the starting running back of the Chargers now, or I'm the starting running back of the Dolphins.
Yeah, Salvin Ahmed. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, 4.5 yards a carry, 123 yards on 28 attempts, and 1 rushing touchdown.
Yeah, he's like 20 years old or 21. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't believe the running backs get paid. Like Zeke and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
That's what you're working against.
It's so clearly wear and tear. Like, no one, with some very rare exceptions, no one has a long career as running back. No one does. Not successfully.
No.
Not being a star.
Unless you're built like Peterson, or you're built like Derrick Henry maybe, or something like, you're just a freak. I just don't know how these guys like expect to be paid,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Did I give a pick for this one? Yeah,
I'm going Dolphins -3.5.
Okay.
Is what I got.
So, yeah, I'm going Dolphins as well. This is perhaps one of the most insulting lines I've ever seen. Not insulting, like it actually makes perfect sense, but take the Jets out of the equation. The fact that a team is facing the 2-7 Chargers and they're 9.5-point underdogs is insane. Like, you have Steelers versus Jags, and that's a 10.5-point spread, but that's a 9-0 team versus a 1-8 team. The Jets are 0-9, and they're facing a team that's 2-7. Record-wise, not that different, and the Chargers are 9.5-point favorites, and I think I'm going with the Chargers. The Jets are just horrible, man. I mean,
they're horrible, but like, I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of Jets football, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's just not on my television screen. And but I did watch the Pats game, and they looked pretty good in that. Flacco looked capable. I don't know where we are. We ping-ponging back and forth between Flacco and Darnold at this point. I don't know who's starting this week. I don't really care. But
I have to check like fantasy. I'm going to check fantasy projections to answer that question because I don't know.
But I mean, like, the Jets have some weapons out there. Like, I love I'm a big Miami fan, so University of Miami. So it's fun watching like Braxton Berrios out there. He's a big Miami. He was one of the one of the few shining spots in the last like 5 to 6 years. He's out there returning punts. He's out there running in the slot. Brashad Perriman looked pretty good. I think he had 2 touchdowns against the Pats. So, with a capable quarterback, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I like the Jets to keep close. I'm taking the Jets plus the points just because it's just overwhelming against a 2-7, like you said, Chargers, and that haircut. We'll go ahead and shave. You can take a field goal off with the bad juju of what is it? Look good, feel good, play good, pay good, whatever that is. If that is a thing, I mean,
isn't that Deion Sanders like brand? Like I think he trademarked that. Yeah,
I think so. But I mean, his haircut.
I saw Barstool. I was watching the rundown, and by the way, just shout out to if anyone watches the Barstool rundown, like it was right at the beginning of quarantine. This kid Michelangelo took over the production, like night and day better. He does a great job. But like they were talking about his haircut, and he like did like a fade to the kid from Deliverance, and like they have the same haircut, like that creepy kid in the river. I mean, it's awful.
Right,
man.
that plays the banjo.
Yeah. They just like
it's
faded between Herbert's haircut and his. I mean, it's horrible.
Well, why now? You know what I mean? Like, at what point? And then, I mean, my man is in Los Angeles. There's plenty of places to go get a nice haircut. And if you had told me, like,
did he cut it himself?
Was like, no. Apparently, the strength coach cut it.
Why?
But they should have just said, like, you know what? We it was like a rookie like hazing incident or something. I mean, I don't know what to.
Don't make it seem like he was like perfect. This is what I wanted.
Right. I wanted the truth will come out, hopefully, about what happened with this poor kid's hair. I mean, we showed it to the lovely Ash, and she was just like, you know what I mean? She couldn't believe what she saw, you know what I mean? So he looked like an adult before with the long hair. Now he looks like he's like a freshman starting for the varsity team.
He looks like the kid from Deliverance. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Yeah. Deliverance is seared into my nightmare.
By the way, never seen it, and it seems so creepy, and it seems like I'd love it. Like because I need to watch it. Is it available anywhere?
Yeah, you can probably find it. I think I've seen it.
I mean,
it's either popped up on. Is it on Netflix or? I mean, you Amazon Prime maybe. I mean, I have them all. It's right up there.
It's got me on one of them. HBO Max. Yeah, there we go. I'll watch it on there.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, enjoy yourself. Let me know what you think. It's a great, very practical. I'm very indoorsy. You're very outdoorsy. And so I'm sure you will appreciate the weird nuance of horror that it will demonstrate because it's a, unlikely to happen, but it could happen. And that's the scariest kind of horror to me.
100%. Yeah. If there's like a big monster or something, not doing it for me. It might be like fun. Yeah. It's not going to be scary. That stuff like that is way scarier. So
you run into some hill folk.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Things happen.
Dude, I spent some time. We have like a friend that has a place in upstate New York, and there's a good hour of that drive. I mean, it's her parents' house. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's a good hour where you're just driving through like we could just disappear out here. Like someone could just disappear us. It's very scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've driven across country 5 times.
I'm talking New York too. So like you're talking across country. There's way more remote areas than that.
Oh yeah.
Although upstate New York is a little. I mean, there's some areas where there's nothing. But yeah, I agree. Jeez, man. They. I'll tell a quick story. We were driving back from this place. I started getting like pretty nervous. We're driving back from this place, and there's a dog in the middle of the road, and like there's nothing there. So I had to like slam on the brakes and like swerve out of the way. And then this one friend of mine, she's like she like volunteers at an animal shelter, all this stuff.
Sure.
So she actually spotted. I will give her. She's like, hey, stop, because there's a dog, and like that's when I saw it and swerve. I can't even imagine if I actually hit it. So all of a sudden, she gets out of the car. This is like in a very remote area, and she's like,
"Is it night or day?"
Day. We're driving home day. It was like a Sunday. So she gets out of the car and like waves the dog over, and the dog just jumps in the backseat of my car. And I was like, Sarah, like, what do you want me to do? Like, what are we supposed to? So she's like, well, let's find its home. So like, this is a random dog. It looks like it's not really well taken care of. Like nails really long. Like, I don't know, man. So we pull into this random driveway that's like has multiple trailers. And she just gets out of the car and like knocks on the door, and I was like, I feel like none of this is a good decision. This feels like the start of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Also, not for nothing, but like for all I know, they like send their dog out so that Good Samaritan will stop and they like rob them or something. I have no idea. We're in the most remote, right? So she knocks on the door, and the lady seemed like nice enough, but then all of a sudden, this other lady comes by and like blocks me into the driveway, and my brain starts going like, all right, I can get out if I like drive over their front lawn, but like I was blocked into the driveway, and I was like, this is just in case, like I don't know what's going on. And this lady gets out, she's got like Confederate flag, she's got jacked up teeth, like you're in like a really. So then it ended up being all right, but I remember just being like, this whole thing is like real, like it's. You're driving along, you feel fine, but then there's like certain situations where you're like, oh, I'm maybe in a really dangerous situation. I gotta be on guard here. Like I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Volpe and I have a classic stumbled upon a cult doing a weird ritual. I think I've told it on the podcast a few times or whatever, maybe, but yeah, Volpe and I have had some weird travels together. As younger.
You never want to
kids,
stumble upon a cult ritual. That's never.
No,
good
I
news.
mean, yeah, we fled the cult as fast as we could. And I blame him because he was like, "Oh, dude, like I met this cool girl at a bookstore and she invited me to this thing," and that's how it starts, man.
Volpe.
That's Volpe. He's in the drama department.
That's why she was in the bookstore.
with the art
She was
school.
trying to recruit.
Bro, exactly, dude. She was recruiting bodies for the sacrifice. Okay, so we got the hell out of there. We had to drive up a mountain on a dirt road. We got the hell out of there as soon as we, dude. They were trying to tie ribbons on our car and shit. I was like, Volpe, let's get the hell out of here. So. We've Volpe and I are no stranger to escaping weird shenanigans. With our lives, barely.
All right, Cowboys Vikings. Cowboys +7, Vikings -7. Cowboys are horrible. They're 2-7. I want them to be worse. Vikings are 4-5. I'm going with the Vikings, but also similar to why I'm going with Washington. I want the Cowboys to lose, so I'm going Vikings even with that spread. I think the Vikings will win regardless. I hope, because it feels like they're still fighting for a playoff spot. As feeble as that may be, I don't know, but it seems like they're still fighting for it. So they're going to try to win. And the Cowboys, while I don't think they're trying to tank, they're tanking. Maybe it's an accident. I don't know. So I'm going Vikings even with the points.
Yeah, no, I'm the same thing. I think Dalvin Cook versus the
he's going to get
Dallas
12
rush
yards
defense.
a carry at a minimum.
Easy. Yeah. So, it's just going to be, first down, Dalvin Cook, second down, Dalvin Cook, third down, bootleg Cousins to Justin Jefferson and for 50 yards. I don't know. Yeah. Is Diggs still hurt?
Stephon Diggs?
No.
Oh, Trayvon.
His brother. Yeah.
That's confusing.
The corner.
No,
sorry.
I don't know.
Because isn't he's somehow the number one corner?
Which is insane, because he actually watched. So he does well. But, like, almost every time they score, it's on a blown coverage by Diggs. And I don't blame him. He's a rookie. I think he has potential. But it's like, I'm sure statistically he's doing fine, but you'll see a lot of like, very bad mistakes. Like, he'll misplay his route,
he's like,
basically.
what was cover three?
Right.
He's like, what's happening?
He'll just be in the wrong spot, and he'll try to, like, swipe and get, like, he'll try to, like, force a fumble or something, and the guy will just score a touchdown for, like, 40 yards. Like, I don't know. It's a good question, though. I'll look it up.
All right. Yeah, the Dallas turnovers, they're good for 2 to 3 turnovers. So, yeah, I don't know how you don't take the Vikings with the points.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see.
7.
Diggs is not on the injury report.
He's okay, so he is playing, we think.
I think so. Yeah, he must. He's not, because he's not even on there. So you have let's see.
Because he was out with a foot, I think, for at least a week or something, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this terminology means. So you look at game status. There's out. There's questionable. What's the? There's like a parentheses with a dash in the middle. Let's see. Not listed. Well, what does that mean? Then why'd you?
Well, if he's not on there, then he's probably fine.
Yeah. Why is not listed? Yeah, but there's only there's 1, 2, 3. There's 7 guys listed, and then next to 4 of them it says not listed, but they are listed.
I think. I'm not sure, but I think the way it works is like if they missed any day of practice, they make this. Okay. They have to be listed on the report, because I think it's like Wednesday.
It's like Andy
Thursday,
Dalton's still
Friday.
on there for the concussion, but I think he's good to go. I think he's playing. I don't know.
No way.
I don't know.
Is he really? He's back?
I don't know. He's been out for. They came off a bye week last week, and then he missed the game prior to that. I think 2 games ago. It's been like 3 weeks. I don't know.
So we got Hurt versus Washington. He missed the who do they play? They gave the JMU
he's back.
one game.
He's projected to get 18.6 on fantasy right now.
On fantasy, all right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Dalton, the kid from JMU, then Garrett Gilbert, then back to Dalton. Does that sound right?
Yes. Yeah, the game that Dalton came out, Danucci came in, and I think he was so bad he did not play. I think the next game was Garrett Gilbert, and then there's a bye week, and then back. That's exactly right. Yeah, back to Dalton.
Okay.
I mean, Dalton was horrible too, though. So it's bad. It's all bad news or good news because I want the Cowboys to lose now. It's hard for me to pivot my brain because I've never said that before until this year. Yes, I'm going Vikings. Packers plus 1.5. Colts minus 1.5. Packers are 7-2. Colts 6-3, and it is in Indianapolis.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Lazard is back, so now they finally have. This is like week 1 Packers, where they had Scandling, they have Lazard, they have Adams. I think Tanyan is finally semi-healthy, so he's kind of got the entire offense weapons to work with. The Colts have a good, top 3 passing defense, but they haven't really played anyone. This is like a weird one because if you look at statistically how things have shaken out, Rodgers has looked very good against like subpar teams, and then the Indies looked really good against subpar quarterbacks. So now we're going to figure out like which one is legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't know. Again, I just feel like the Packers are way better than the Colts. I know the records are similar.
That's what I mean. My line was Packers plus 1.5. So I was like,
that's what I got. Packers plus 1.5, and just picking Packers as 7-2 as underdogs. It's another one that I can't really wrap my head around. Like unless we're missing something, like you said.
I guess I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess people were a little shooken up by the Packers taking 3 quarters to wake up against Jacksonville last week. Maybe they didn't look great.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
But yeah, with Scantling, Lazard, and Adams all back. I mean, man, like he might just be like dinking and dunking out there this week. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's what I thought last week. So who knows?
True. But yeah, I'm going Packers. So primetime games now. We'll get into. I have the Kevin's picks as well for the primetime games, and then we'll do the locks after that. But so. Primetime Sunday Night Football. We got Chiefs -8. I think is the line I had, and then Raiders +8. So the Chiefs actually didn't write down the record. What are they? They're 8-1, and the Raiders 6-3. I don't know. The Chiefs still feel like king shit. It feels like that's like the cream of the crop in this league, even though the Steelers are undefeated. And -8's a lot, I guess. Not. I don't know. I think I'm going Chiefs to cover. What do you got?
I'm actually going to go to the Raiders plus the points, but I agree with you. Like Mahomes I think he's 25 touchdowns to 1 pick.
I mean, they're weapon. Like everyone's getting. I feel like every receiver, including Travis Kelce, is getting like 100 yards a game. I know that's not even true, but it just feels. It's just like everyone's eating. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Chiefs' defense is struggling. The pass defense isn't too bad, but the run defense isn't great. Carr looked good in week 5 when they won. They beat the Chiefs, but he's kind of slumped since then. I think the Chiefs win, but I like the Raiders to at least cover. I don't think it'll be as huge. The Raiders beat the Chiefs last time by 8, so I thought it was a weird spread. It's kind of a weird revenge game. I can't imagine the Chiefs getting swept by the Raiders. I can't imagine it. You know what I mean? So I'm taking the Raiders plus the points, but I expect the Chiefs to win.
Sure. And then Monday Night Football, Rams versus Bucks. Now, both these teams are coming off pretty big wins. The Bucks face the Panthers, not a huge win, but divisional rival, right? And then also, I don't know. I understand McCaffrey's not there. It's still like a ridiculous performance when you win 46-23 against a team. So the Bucks absolutely blew out the Panthers. They're coming off of that. And then I think a lot of people are picking the Seahawks over the Rams. The Rams pulled that off, won by 7 against the Seahawks, won convincingly. So both teams probably feeling pretty good right now, and they're facing each other right now. This is going to be in Tampa Bay. Rams 6-3, Bucks 7-3. What do you got?
Man, this is a tough one because I think the last complete Rams game I watched was the Miami game where they looked horrible and Goff looked horrible. And the way I'm stacking my matchups and looking at it is like the Rams have an elite complete defense where the pass rush looks great. The rushing D looks great. The secondary with Ramsey looks great. Like they're ranked in the top 3 in all those categories. It's just the offense, you know what I mean? It's when I look at, it's Tom Brady back in prime time in a Monday night game. So I think there's going to be a little extra tinge of something for him there. And then they've got the 3-headed monster right now with Evans and Godwin and Antonio Brown. And then Jones looks pretty good. I mean, it broke one off for 90 yards or something, or 100 yards last week. The Bucks defense is good enough to kind of keep them in, the game, especially the rush defense somehow without Vita Vea is they're just hanging in there. Jason Pierre-Paul still exists somehow, playing well. So I like the Buccaneers -4. It's one of those games that I'm like, oh God, it's a tough one to take, but I can't get behind the Rams offense yet. It just doesn't, it looks so bad the last time. And Goff hasn't thrown a touchdown since the Dolphins game. I don't think he threw one last week. I think he just kind of dinked and dunked it or whatever, but he put him in position. He moved the ball, but man, I just got to imagine. I don't know. Something's telling me I like the Bucks -4.
Who else beat the Bucks? I'm trying to figure this out. So the Saints beat them twice, and then they lost to. The Bears by 1 point. That's a bad loss.
That was a crazy game.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't know, man. I'm also going the Bucks. I think the Saints. I mean, even the first game was closer, I guess. Also, first game of the season, no preseason. Tom Brady on a new team, whatever. The second game against the Saints was an absolute shit show, obviously, but I feel like that's almost an anomaly. I think the Bucks are really good. I think the Rams. I mean, obviously they're I don't know. I agree with you. I'm going Bucks -4. I might regret that, but that's where I stand with it right now. Both Kevins are going with the Chiefs and the Rams. So I'm on the Chiefs. The Kevins are on the Chiefs. Dave is on the Raiders, and then me and you are on the Bucks, and the two Kevins are on the Rams. So that's it for the primetime picks. Now the lock of the week. I'll start, I guess. I'll make a vow right now. So this is gonna be my last MMA pick if I get it wrong, and then I'm gonna go back because I got I'm 1-0 on NFL picks right now. And MMA, I think I'm 2-3 technically. So this is my new strategy because I feel like this is how this thing has kind of shaked out. I'm going through the odds of a card, and then I'm finding a fight that has pretty even odds, and then I'm picking the name that's the less big name. That's my new strategy. We'll see if that works out. So you have Alan Joban, who, I mean, if you watch him, he's a bigger name, versus Jared Gooden, who is I'm not as familiar with, and it's pretty even odds. Joban's minus 160-ish, depending on where you go. Jared Gooden is plus 130, so kind of split odds. Because I'm less familiar with Jared Gooden, I'm just going to pick him, even though I like Alan Joban. I hope he wins. I think he's really talented, but the fact that it's pretty even and one guy's more famous, that's my strategy at the moment. So I'm going Jared Gooden. No idea if that works out. If it doesn't, I'll be abandoning the MMA ship. Kevin Quinn, a.k.a. West Coast Kevin, he's going Chiefs -8, the just regular Chiefs line. That's his lock of the week. Okay. And then Kevin Hatch is teasing the Packers and the Chiefs. So for him, the Chiefs are -1. So basically just have to win the game. And the Packers jump up to plus 7.5 with the tease. But what do you got for your lock?
I'm just going to do Dolphins -3.5. It's just simple, easy. But is Joban still modeling, by the way? Is he still handsome?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I know he was. I like him, by the way, but I'm not sure if he's modeling. There's a few guys. There's a stretch there, right? During that era of 2012, maybe. I don't know. But there's a bunch of guys. Who's the guy? Elias Theodora from Canada.
There were a lot of good-looking, handsome.
He was a
guys.
model.
We had a good stretch of handsome guys.
Yeah. You can even throw Sage Northcutt in there. Rockhold. Yep. So I feel
he was the handsomest of them all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like him. I don't know, but I'm literally I noticed the strategy before. I lost on Claudia Gadelia. It was pretty much even odds. I hadn't really heard of the other girl, and she won convincingly. And I feel like that happens a lot. I'm just betting the money's coming in on the bigger name. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. So I'm going out of the box with that strategy. But I'm going Jared Gooden.
Okay.
So there we go. Who'd you have again? I want to write it down.
Miami -3.5.
All right. Miami -3.5. Okay, I think that does it for this week. Then look at that, we kept it under an hour. So it's a miracle. What we almost went? Did we go 2 hours? I think it was just shy of 2 hours last week.
Nah, somewhere in there.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. Let's quit while we're ahead. Thank you guys for listening. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend. Go to thedisorderly.com for this and everything else. Do you have anything on the schedule, by the way? For
So Ash is working on something. She's had a rough week at work, so she's hitting this. It's been a multiple sitting movie. You know what I mean? So she's got an Trash with Ash coming out.
Is it a mystery what the movie is?
Well, I figure like I feel like I'll just when it comes out it's not a new movie though. I mean, movies aren't coming out.
Sure.
So traditionally the Trash with Ashes were horrible movies that Ash wanted to go see in a theater that I refused to go to. But because movie theaters aren't really happening right now, we're getting trash movies on releases and things like that. So it's not a new movie. Like it came out last year or it came out maybe earlier this year. It's been forever, but so it's not like it's not like a new release. So it wasn't. It's Doolittle. Not that it's some huge secret or something. But yeah, it's taken a few
with Iron
sinks.
Man, correct?
Absolutely. So that's one that Dave is not going to attend. So Ash is the canary in the coal mine of when you send the canary into like just a methane chamber. You know what I mean? Sure. I'm not going to go see that. So she's working on that. We got a few other things cooking. But yeah, it's a weird release schedule with stuff just kind of limping out or whatever. So yeah, I'll talk to Volpe and see if he's seen anything fun recently. But yeah, I got a few different things kicking around.
Can I make a Trash with Ash request?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll leave it open ended, but there's all these new like Netflix Christmas movies coming out.
Yeah.
Any of them. I've watched 3 by the way. So I don't know why they pop up. I got nothing going on. It's like on in the background. I've watched 3 so far. I've watched I'll tell you the 3 I've watched, then I'll rank them. There was the first one I watched was Holiday, the one with goddamn, what's her name? I get all the Emmas confused. Emma,
the girl from American Horror Story or Scream.
Yes.
What was it? Scream Queens.
Both.
She was in
both those and American Horror Story. Yeah. Emma Roberts. That's Julia Roberts' niece. It's called Holiday. Then Operation Christmas Drop. Yep, that's another one. So basically, it was like I don't even want to get into the plot. So there's that, and then the one that got like ridiculously high reviews. What was it? Dash and Lily, or Lily and Dash.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It was like based on a novel. It's got like a 100% or like high 90s on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure.
So I will say that was better than Operation Christmas Drop, but I thought Holiday was even better than that, and I think that all 3 of them are terrible. But if I was going to rank them, Holiday, I was like, all right, I get it. It's kind of like an R-rated rom-com where there's more dirty jokes and shit. And then Lily and Dash or whatever, I thought that show was terrible. That was more of a miniseries. It wasn't a movie, but I couldn't believe the reviews were so high. And then Operation Christmas Drop is as bad as you would think it would be. Although based on a true story, it seems like the true story is kind of a nice story. But
jeez.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get her cranking. I mean, there's a plethora out there. You know what I mean? We just gotta find the time.
Operation Christmas Drop, by the way, which has the feel of like a Hallmark Christmas movie, like one of those like really bad straight to TV movies.
Oh yeah,
it feels like that. They had the audacity, and we talked about this, or maybe we talked about it off the air. I never revealed my number 1 classic movie. I guess if you're listening now, I'll do it. Maybe I'll still do a video for it. I don't know, but it's Casablanca. I loved it. They had the audacity to quote a famous line from Casablanca in like 3/4 of the way into Operation Christmas Drop, and I was very insulted.
Yeah, it's a tough one to drop on people, especially if you hadn't yet seen the movie.
Sure, they're gonna
just recently seen.
Imagine this scenario: they're gonna watch Casablanca and then be like, "Oh, that's the line from Operation Christmas Drop." There's gonna be
that's the worst. Like when you realize that your favorite, your favorite song just basically sampled the complete rhythm from something from the 60s or the 70s, sure. Right? It just shatters your whole worldview.
Yep. Yeah, she walks out. I'll spoil it. Not really, but she walks into the bar and she quotes of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world. I think that's what she said, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So the rest of the line is "you walk into mine." But
see, you got to twist it out. You got to put like of all the peppermint
at least like parody
joints. You got to make it. Yeah, you got to do something, but you can't just quote it.
She said the exact line in one of the worst movies of all time, and it was insulting to cinema everywhere.
Terrible.
But yep, that's where I'll leave you guys. So holidays are coming up. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Thanksgiving football, of course. How are we gonna do this, by the way? What are you gonna do for that?
Anything you want.
We should probably talk about the Thanksgiving game. So maybe
sure.
maybe try to record on like Wednesday at the latest or something. We'll figure it out.
Well, who's playing? We know Detroit always plays. Is Dallas playing? I assume?
Detroit and Dallas always plays too.
Okay, I think I want to say the Skins are playing.
There's always that night game.
They playing Dallas?
They're playing Dallas. They are playing Dallas.
There you go.
All right,
okay,
let's
so
see.
we've got at least 3 out of 4 16s.
Let me jump ahead. So
yeah.
Texans, Lions, Washington, Cowboys, and then it's a really good night game actually. The night game is Ravens at Steelers.
Okay,
that's a good game.
Yeah, that's a good game.
All right, yeah. So we'll talk about that then. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. Let's wrap it up. Just shy of an hour. Well done. And I'll see you guys, I don't know, sometime early next week, I guess, before Thanksgiving.
Yep. Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, see you.